Hello everybody, welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews, where we do our best to review in 10 minutes or less. Usually books and authors, every so often movies, TV shows, but primarily books and authors, because it's what we do. We love to read. Now, we don't review the high literature, the next great American novel. We don't review the equivalent of an Oscar-winning movie. We review the popcorn flick, the 20% Rotten Tomatoes score, but the word of mouth and, cult classic kind of stuff, or the lesser known movies, or books, lesser known books. We also like to review indie authors because we like to give them a shot. This time around, though, we are going to talk about a fantastic author that is definitely moving up the ranks as far as how well known he is and how good he is and his books. We're going back into the fantasy genre. And the kind of medieval adjacent sort of settings. And we want to talk about Steven Erikson. Steven Erikson and his Malazan Empire, the Malazan Empire series. There's 8 or 10 books. I want to say it's 10 books possibly. And it's just absolutely fantastic. I actually came across them because a couple friends of mine like to read, so we sort of started this little book club where we all read the same book, and then we can talk about it. And we let one guy kind of find the books, and he came across this one, and it was actually free. It was actually free on my Kindle app, so I thought, sure, why not? And the author is so good that once they stopped being free, I just started buying them because they're incredible, absolutely incredible. It's an awesome world he's built. He writes really well. His characters are really cool, and it's very expansive. The Malazan Empire is an empire that is a conquering empire. Always trying to conquer, and it's ruled by this empress that had killed the previous emperor. Now, of course, it has magic. Now, the magic runs a little bit different. They use these what they call warrens. Almost, they can travel through them. Basically, they're other almost pocket dimensions, pocket worlds that the power of it they can use and control if they are wizards. And the book originally kind of focuses on this army unit, the bridge burners, and how they are kind of holdovers from the previous emperors. So attrition has slowly whittled them down. It seems like the empress is actually kind of, in a way, trying to kill them. And this wizard Tattersail, who kind of a main character in the beginning of it. Now, each book of the series takes place generally in a different area. Different characters sometimes, although they do start to cross. I am still waiting to find out what happened with one of the characters from the first book, because I'm only 7 books in at this point. Because I have to kind of go slow so I don't finish up the whole series before my friends do. So this is one of like 6 books I'm reading right now, and it starts out with the bridge burners, this army unit. Legendary army, with some real cool characters. I mean, one of the characters that, like, the engineers are a little crazy, but they play around with explosives, so they're probably going to be a little bit crazy. Their sergeant used to be a general. One of the characters is a former assassin, a former imperial assassin. So they're just cool, and they're vets. They're very skilled at what they do. Tattersail, very, very skilled. So the first book kind of covers the bridge burners and one little bit that's going on. The second book actually jumps continents, covers a whole different war that the empire is trying to do. Once again, the bridge burners show up. And then subsequent books that kind of jump back and forth between different continents, different wars, different characters. They introduce other characters, immortal characters, super powerful characters, dragons, legendary dragons, old gods, new gods, fallen gods, crippled gods. There's gods everywhere. There's magic. There's magical warrens everywhere. But wait, some of these magical warrens appear to be poisoned. If you use it, you hurt yourself. You can still use it, but you're going to pay for it. But what's causing it? Wait, what are the warrens? And every book seems to add just a little bit more to it. They have different races. Some are more powerful than others. I mean, one of these races, they refer to humanity basically as children. You know, they go out and kill children. These guys may be soldiers, maybe 40-year-old soldiers, but to this race, they're children, because this race, they're all 7, 8, 9 feet tall, super fast, super strong. They use wooden swords that are treated to make them as hard as steel, and possibly they have some magic involved in them. I mean, one of these races manages to without magic, just by the sheer fact of how powerful the race is, manages to kill these demons, basically, that's just destroying everybody else. And then you've got demons. The demons that show up, one of them is really cool, really funny, demon familiar. Absolutely love him as a character. I do hope he shows back up at some point, because he was cool. And the books do start to intertwine. You know, you've got some characters that show up again. In fact, all the characters, you can tell they're all kind of mixing as part of this whole world, is sort of building up to something. Because every war that's seen fight, another one comes up. They free one set of cursed people, and these cursed people decide they don't want to be free. They actually want to go to another continent because their descendants are involved in a war, and they want to go help them. And then you've got another book from the opposite side of these descendants, and now the descendants are the bad guys. They're the good guys trying to defend against the war, or defend against the invaders. And then you find out new magic, and then, hey, maybe a dead character might actually come back thanks to magic, that magic that was built up. One thing that Steven Erikson is really, really, really good at, he is really, really good at I guess you could say, the old plot twist. The old, throw you a curveball at the end. Now, his books start out a little bit slower. They crawl, walk, run. They start out a little bit slower, a lot more exposition, a lot more building. Oftentimes, you're reading the book going, how does this connect to the rest of them? And then you get to the walking phase, and it's starting to speed up, and you're like, oh, okay, then this is pretty interesting. I wonder what happens now. I wonder what happens to this guy. I wonder what happens to this guy. What's going to happen here? And then you get to the run phase, and you're just in a dead sprint. The last quarter of every book is just a full-blown sprint to the finish, and it is just incredible. Cannot put it down once you're in the last quarter of the book. And again, these characters showing back up. Strange things are happening, and his plot twists, I think only once have I actually managed to spot it as I'm reading, because he does set them up. He sets them up, and kind of, you could sort of get hints if your mind works in really twisted ways. You could kind of sort of get a hint and figure out what it is he's trying to say. But in general, by the time this plot twist hits, this guy was actually this guy, or this was actually happened because of this. You have to think back, and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, oh yeah, I could see that, but I didn't see it coming. Never saw it come. So only once have I actually seen it come. This guy's really good at these. And they're not plot twists just for the sake of plot twists, or plot twists just to add a deus ex in to save the main character at the end, because a lot of these characters die. They're more plot twists that absolutely further the plot, or explain things, or increase the plot line or the stakes. And it's fantastic. Steven Erikson and his Malazan Empire is just, as a series, absolutely phenomenal. I cannot recommend it highly enough if you are a fantasy fan. So please hit the like and subscribe buttons, comment down below, or email us. Tell me some books you'd like me to read, or just want to chat about some books. And otherwise, go check out Steven Erikson and the Malazan Chronicles, or Malazan Empire. And we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.